domestic violence is a reality, why do we refrain from talking about it?
चाहे एक थप्पड़ हो या नहीं, थप्पड़
Hmm.
नहीं भी है, किसी तरह और तरह का भी आपको दबाया जा रहा है, तो दैट शुड नॉट बी टॉलरेटेड. बट anyways, women are not allowed to
Hmm.
talk, and men don't prefer to talk.
So, what exactly is domestic violence?
हर रिलेशनशिप सुधरा जा सकता है अगर बिना आप हाथ पैर चलाए बात करो.
As a gender based violence survivor and an advocate as well, uh, what would be your message to the society?
Divorce is not a stigma, because I always say
Right.
divorced daughter is much better than a dead daughter or a daughter who is dying there daily.
Dr. Aninda Sidhana, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time and a very, very warm welcome to the iRonik show.
Thank you for having me as a guest, and it's a wonderful opportunity which I feel to talk on this show.
It's our pleasure, ma'am. We are trying to, do some impactful podcast rather than what garners views. Right. Obviously, views are important for us as YouTuber, as content creators, but it also is a platform which, which we have been blessed with, and through which we can reach out to and even impact a few people's lives. So even if this podcast helps at least one person, our job is, done. So recently we did a podcast with one of the relationship coaches and we talked about divorce, failed marriages and all that. So I think this podcast on domestic violence, on gender based violence is a brilliant, extension to that, because it just takes off the discussion from where we left in the previous
Yeah.
discussion with.
So as you said, like if even if
uh,
one life is affected, that is impactful. So I
right.
definitely believe that podcast or even the cinema and media
Hmm.
and storytelling is a powerful tool to help people break
Absolutely.
the silence and to break the stigma around any issue, not only domestic violence, but any mental health issue or any issue which people don't talk about. And it gives the
Absolutely.
courage. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So let's start with a very simple question. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling uh, it's a bit overwhelmed, but yes, motivated to do better for the society and to empower women. That is, and
Great.
I'm feeling that. Yeah, right.
Thank you so much. So, as a domestic violence survivor, right, for someone who has personally gone through this gender-based violence, domestic violence, do you still feel it's does it? I mean, this is the second time that you're going through it. I mean, we have gone through it once. So, even from the first relationship, so does it still take a toll on your mental and physical health?
Uh, Definitely, domestic violence is one thing which is like it does not only take a toll on my mental health, it takes a toll
Hmm.
on whole family's mental health and physical health. Definitely. And in India, it's
Right.
very difficult to face, especially the second divorce, that
Hmm.
stigma for the about facing the society that affects the family more as compared to me, I believe. And it's taking a toll on everyone in my family, not only me. But yes, I am, yeah, like
Hmm.
turning my pain into the purpose to help other women and other people. And no, not only the women, even men are victims of the violence. I believe that. And men's
Absolutely.
mental health is
Absolutely.
also important. So yes, it has impacted me. It has changed my personality also at some
Hmm.
levels, but
Hmm.
I'm reclaiming my life and taking back the power. So yes, it definitely impacts anybody's mental health.
Absolutely. Ma'am, before we go into depth about what is to understand domestic violence from your perspective, what exactly is domestic violence, what kind of domestic violence are there, I would like to understand. It's nothing new that be it a male, be it a female, right, in a marriage or in a relationship, uh, there are many. I would believe there are many cases of domestic violence that happen, and domestic violence is something that happens, I think, almost each day in, almost at least 50% of the households in India
Yes.
or anywhere else for that matter. But why it is? I mean, like sex, right? We refrain from talking about it, right? It's a reality.
Yes.
domestic violence is a reality. Why do we refrain from talking about it? Why there are so many, why there are so limited people who are coming out and talking about it? No, last few years I have seen some of the survivors who have come out, spoken about it very openly, and things are starting to change. I don't know, I mean, you will be the right person to comment on that. But why do we keep quiet?
So the reason to keep quiet is, first is in India, especially in our culture and society, we all are told
Hmm.
like marriage should work. And I think Bachpan se the training has been given कि marriage is the one
Yeah.
thing which is successful, or which is the source of your happiness and
Hmm.
success.
Hmm.
And about the domestic violence, like me being so educated from the educated family of psychiatrists, and I have myself done workshops in forensic and neuropsychological aspects of domestic violence. It took me also to talk about it, to tell anybody about the abuse 3 years in both my marriages. I didn't tell even a
Hmm.
word to anybody, even if someone used to ask what is happening. So, and also one thing I have seen, people who are facing the abuse, their Facebook posts, their social media will show you they are the happiest couple to hide the reality. So nobody
That is a
talks
sad
about
truth.
it. Yes, nobody talks about it, and everyone is like, it's like a guilt, and the self-esteem is
Hmm.
eroded. First of all, it takes a lot of courage to break the silence, and also it takes a lot of courage to get out of that relationship and to talk about it in this society. People
Hmm.
question you, question your worth also. Why
Hmm.
with you only? And but they don't see like, चाहे एक थप्पड़ हो या नहीं, थप्पड़
Hmm.
नहीं भी है, किसी तरह और तरह का भी आपको दबाया जा रहा है, तो that should not be tolerated. But anyways, women are not allowed to talk,
Hmm.
and men don't prefer to talk, because for men it is a like to ask for help. They feel they are being called as less manly. So I
Yeah.
believe men should be taught to talk about their emotions, and women should be allowed to talk. So that is this.
So again, though, so looking at two from two different lenses, as a man, वी हैव नॉट बीन कंडीशनड, हमें वैसा
हाँ,
कंडीशन ही नहीं किया गया कि हम रो सकें या फिर इमोशनल हो सके या फिर इमोशन अपना बाहर जाहिर कर सके.
हाँ,
एंड फ्रॉम अ women's point of view, the sad reality is a women's worth in India even today, वो कितना भी कुछ अचीव करे, इट्स टैग्ड टू हाउ सक्सेसफुल अ मैरिज शी इज इन,
yes,
राइट?
definitely. It's
Whether or not marriage is successful, it's a different story altogether. But in front of the society, वो कितना successful, वो कितना happy दिखा रहे हैं, वो कितना अपने परिवार को लेके चल रही है, that is what is important for everyone and anyone, right? So that's a sad truth, and we have to accept it that यही होता है.
nahi, but we have to
Now,
change it.
absolutely,
हाँ,
absolutely.
so that is the time now. It's the time to change the narrative. I
Hmm.
believe like men should be a bit more feminine and women should be more masculine. कि women ज्यादा बोले उनको लेबल ना किया जाए.
Hmm.
And मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता, ऐसा नहीं है. Rather, men suffer more in silence. Men cry more in silence. But they don't have anybody to talk to. उनको लगता है they will be judged and they suffer more. And even injustice अगर हो भी रहा है वो नहीं बोलते.
Hmm.
So that's why they suffer a lot. And in the end, the things get so complicated that anger outburst and aggression, everything happens. So if they start talking about it and start taking help,
Hmm.
and if we teach the men from beginning कि भाई ऐसा नहीं है कि लड़के रो नहीं सकते हैं, men can talk about the emotions, things can improve much better. हर रिलेशनशिप सुधरा जा सकता है अगर बिना आप हाथ पैर चलाए बात करो.
एग्जैक्टली, बट हमारे यहाँ पे हाथ पैर चलाने को इतना नॉर्मलाइज कर दिया गया है ना हमेशा
या
से. एंड खासकर इफ देयर इज अ वुमन, अगर हस्बैंड हाथ उठा रहा है, तो पीपल अराउंड द हाउस होल्ड और इन द सोसाइटी विल से कि अरे यार ठीक है, यू आर द वुमन, आप थोड़ा बर्दाश्त कर लो, आप इसको मैनेज कर लो, लेट्स नॉट मेक इट अ वे बिगर इशू. इट्स अ बिग इशू.
yes, definitely.
No one in the relationship is allowed, either the male or the female does not have the right कि आप हाथ उठा सको किसी पे,
Yes.
राइट, अपने पार्टनर्स पे. सो थोड़ा समझते हैं आपके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस? क्या सिर्फ यही है कि एक पार्टनर ने दूसरे पार्टनर पे हाथ उठाया? व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस?
नहीं, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस सिर्फ हाथ उठाना नहीं है. वो तो इट्स
Hmm.
जस्ट अ टिप ऑफ द आइसबर्ग विच वी सी
Hmm.
कि थप्पड़ मूवी में दिखाया कि एक थप्पड़ मारा और
Right.
वो डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस हो गया. बट नाउ हैव यू सीन मिसेस मूवी, द इमोशनल
Yeah.
मैनिपुलेशन विच वाज बीइंग डन, द गैस लाइटिंग, जो आपको हर छोटी छोटी बात में बी लिटलिंग यू एंड not allowing you to go anywhere, not allowing you to work, even men and women both. Some women are
Hmm.
so possessive, they don't allow their men to talk, even they don't allow men to take care of their parents. कि हमसे
Hmm.
बात नहीं, हमसे क्यों कम बात कर रहे हैं, माँ बाप से क्यों ज्यादा बात कर रहे हैं. That is also a type of emotional abuse. So emotional
Okay.
abuse is much more deeper than the physical abuse which happens. Physical abuse, at least we go and talk about, है ना, थप्पड़
Hmm.
मारा. And then there is a financial abuse when women is not given the liberty to take control of her own finances. And also then there is the emotional abuse is very big. It can be body shaming, that you are fat, you are not good looking. Then another can be disrespect, belittling her in all the ways. And then emotional abuse in case of males, when female is doing it, can be being over demanding. He is coming back home with all the work done, and coming
Hmm.
immediately after coming you start fighting. That is the
Hmm.
emotional abuse a man goes. कि मम्मी अच्छी, कि a man is always sandwiched between mother and a wife.
Yeah.
So वो भी एक emotional abuse है, and there should be understanding. So then there is another abuse, sexual abuse, which anyways very few data is there because nobody talks
Hmm.
about it. And
Yeah.
though maybe in India it's not much, but because data is not there, that is the problem. So there are many kinds of abuse, and the most debilitating abuse, like which can cause the harmful
Hmm.
effects, is the emotional abuse. It erodes your self-esteem. It makes you feel so. It makes you feel like you are walking on the eggshells all the time. That अभी कब क्या हो जाएगा, क्या बम फटेगा ये नहीं मालूम. So it's like you are walking on the eggshells throughout the day, even men or women, when they are not happy in the marriage and the demands are too high and the expectations are not met. So both suffer, and emotional abuse is like gaslighting, manipulation, and then blaming you. So first you blame, abuse them, you tell them like you are wrong, and after that you say, "कि नहीं, you provoked me, that's why I slapped you." And then you start love bombing, then again the apologies. So that abuse is more harmful than the physical abuse. So it can be many types. Yeah.
So you spoke about physical abuse, which is typically हाथ उठाना हो गया, slap हो गया. Then there is emotional abuse, which could be either from the man or the woman, depending on the, it could be manipulation and all that. Then you spoke about sexual abuse. I guess sexual abuse is related to marital rape, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, that is related to marital rape. So it's
Hmm.
like, but it's not talked about in our
Yeah.
normal sex is only not talked about. So sex, even physical abuse, people take so many years to talk about. So sexual abuse
Hmm.
is very rare. It is talked about. So
Okay.
then
And
financial abuse, another thing, which is
okay.
extremely common. Women is not given the liberty to use her own salary and not given the independence about that.
Okay. So the four major categories that we can categorize domestic violence is into physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse. So these are the four broader spectrum, and obviously there could be so many,
Other things, yeah.
sub yeah. I mean, different categories even in these
Even
four broad
yes,
categories.
even disrespecting the family members of the man or a woman is a major abuse.
And is there a pattern that you have been able to, or any, you know, have you been able to identify if there is a pattern to it? I mean, the psychological part, if you go deeper into the psychological part of it, is
Def-
there a pattern?
Definitely, there is a pattern which is like we say, like it is a cycle of abuse and violence. So abuse is
Hmm.
just not the thappad or abuse. The main reason is the power.
Hmm.
Domestic violence or abuse, which we call, it is like a one person is trying to maintain the power over the other, whether a female or a male. So, and that cycle goes on. And in this cycle, it's like invisible power dynamics plays in all the marriages. In India, highly educated you are, but still there will be invisible power dynamics where a man will try to dominate, or If a female has some personality issue or some issue, if a female is
Hmm.
dominating, she will try to dominate, and that invisible power dynamics keeps on going. And then the first sign of abuse is the abuser will try to isolate you from everybody. You will be isolated from your own family members, from your friends, not allowed to talk. And it can be shown like as a Shah Rukh Khan of Dar movie कि अगर वो शादी में गया तो
Hmm.
देयर विल बी सो मच ऑफ पोजेसिवनेस यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू टॉक टू एनीवन तो वो एक तरह का अब्यूज है सो साइकिल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम देयर इट्स लाइक अ स्टॉकिंग नॉट स्टोकिंग इट कैन बी लाइक पोजेसिवनेस इतना पोजेसिव है कि you are isolated from everybody but the other person is feeling yes he loves me so much he is not allowing me to talk to anyone and 24 hours together but that is the
Hmm.
abuse which is going on but no one will understand that then next comes they start damaging your own self esteem and you start blaming yourself and doubting yourself. Self doubt comes in. Oh yeah, he's so nice. It must be me only. It must be my fault only because the abuser is the most charming person you will ever meet. If you see the person outside, he will be the most charming person, most handsome, most people pleasing. Nobody will believe you that, and nobody knows what is happening behind the closed door. So the charming personality, then when they abuse you, then the manipulation comes. And after manipulating you, they will, if you try to cut off, they start becoming more loving, apologizing. The phase comes in which it's like love bombing phase. They love bomb you with the gifts, flowers, and most romantic dates, and then you start thinking, oh my God, I was only wrong and I left him. And you go back. So everybody in this cycle of breaking the cycle, it takes at least 7 to 12 times. It's like the person comes back and then goes back, then comes back, and finally they understand this is the abuse which was going on. So
Okay.
social isolation when it happens,
Hmm.
that is the first sign. Then they take control of their finances, then they take control of their life, and in between all this, your self-esteem anyways gets taken away, and you start self-doubting, and you get into that cycle.
Okay, before everything goes out of hand कि अब तो ये abuse एकदम ये confirmed abuse है, now the relationship is ending in a bad way, is there, are there some early signs for the male, for the female, मैं आपको दोनों perspective से ही
Yeah.
पूछ रहा हूँ, अगर are there some early signs that can be, अगर पहले हम spot कर लें इन चीजों को, then the things can be talked,
Yes.
वो बात करके communicate करके proper, या फिर marriage counseling के through कुछ भी करके the things
Y-
can be sorted out.
Yes, definitely. First of all, I have written articles on premarital counseling also. Like in India, people don't go much, but now in metro cities,
Hmm.
they have started going on. So premarital counseling, I believe, is must, where one should initially only discuss what are the expectations, what are the career
Hmm.
ambitions of a woman and a man, and what are the expectations for
Right.
the family, and what are the expectations of having children, because nowadays many women also don't want to have kids, or
Yeah.
then what are the expectations of the finances, how they will be divided, because everywhere it's like everyone is earning. So I always say we have become, whole generation started making women empowered, but they forgot to teach men how to live with the empowered woman. Yeah.
That's
So
that's
everyone
so true. That's
wants
so
a
true.
highly educated bahu for their
Huh.
house. But when she is highly educated, she will definitely go out and work and be
Huh.
independent and achieve milestones. But they don't celebrate that and forget that. That they got a
Huh.
person who is highly educated and ambitious. But why now they are having the problem? So
Yeah.
that is there, like premarital counseling should be done where
Huh.
initially only there are few things which can be talked upon. But in India, there are people, many cases we have seen, many clients, they come, like there are mental illness in both male and female.
Huh.
They hide it. They come to us and ask, see, मैडम इनका डिप्रेशन है हमारी बेटी को, शादी करेंगे ठीक हो जाएगा. So फिर then we tell, but you have to tell them that she is suffering from depression, so she continues the medication and person is supportive. They just come, take the counseling, and after that, after 6 months, they go away and no treatment, nothing, and then again they come back and there is a marital problem. And in males also similar issue happens. They
True.
hide the mental illness. Someone is bipolar, and the bipolar illness is like, it's very funny because in the initial period, when a person comes to you for a year or 2 year, whether a courtship, whether a love live-in relationship, because bipolar is a cyclical illness, it's like they are absolutely normal. Nobody can identify because that is a normal period.
Right.
But suddenly the changes happen. So a family should inform that is a bipolar illness, because bipolar illness can have aggression, all the things, but it can
Hmm.
be managed with
Hmm.
medications. It can be managed
Right.
when one is stopped from taking drugs, alcohol abuse is avoided, or sleep pattern is maintained. So it can be, and spouse is supportive. So marriage and mental illness is like, that is the another thing which is hidden and that causes the problem. Then comes the red flag sign. Actually, in both my marriages, my best friend, like Shweta Raina, she's like, she has made a video also. It's on video. It's on a
Hmm.
YouTube. I will share with you how to identify the red flag sign. Because sometimes what happens, we are so blind in love, we don't identify. And our friends are the
Yeah.
first one who can see the signs that a person is marrying is not right, whether he's marrying you only for the money or for some hidden motive, or his nature is not the way you are seeing it. And they warn you also, but you neglect, because love is the seventh sense which makes all the senses fail. You don't identify.
Yeah.
So there are many red flag signs which you can identify initially only. Shweta only called. Yeah. So she was the one, she has made a video to, I have made it like it's on a YouTube to make people aware what all red flag signs can be seen, identified initially. So
Okay.
it can be
So
avoided. Yeah.
you just mentioned one thing. I would just like to delve a bit into it. You mentioned one thing about that there should be really openness. I mean, if there are either the boy or the girl, who are about to who are about to getting married, if either of them has some sort of mental issue, that should be clearly communicated to the other party. I have a few. I have seen a couple of cases, real life examples, wherein the boy's family has not informed the girl's family, and it's only after getting married, maybe after 1 month of spending time with the man, it got very clear that the person is has some sort of mental health issues. And so my question is, does that count into some sort of abuse also,
Definitely,
emotional abuse
that is anyways the biggest blunder you have done, because in India,
Hmm.
many mothers believe कि शादी कर दो बेटा ठीक हो जाएगा.
हाँ, हाँ.
हाँ. So that is anyways a cheating from the start. That is a gamble. कोई भी आपका
Okay.
बैक एक ठीक हो सकता है शादी करने से, या सिर दर्द ठीक हो सकता है शादी करने से,
Right.
अस्थमा ठीक हो सकता है. So how can mental illness be treated with marriage?
So in these cases wherein either of the party has been cheated, is there any particular law that can cater to it, that can take care of it?
So it's like Indian law is anyways very ambiguous, and there are a lot
Hmm.
of issues. And once a person is declared with mental illness, so if he beats you up, he's not liable to it, because like many laws are like this. And also people don't go after that, also people don't tell. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's and there are now people have come up with the matrimonial sites in which persons with mental illness they can marry, like
Hmm.
openness is there, and you can adjustment, and marriage
Hmm. Hmm.
can work as a good prognostic factor if it is told beforehand. In bipolar especially, a spouse can take care of all the warning signs, and it can im- improve the prognosis instead of decreasing it.
Okay. Uh, Again, on speaking on the legal side, when it comes to domestic violence, how is the Indian legal system?
I think
Does it support the woman? Let's talk from a woman perspective first.
it
Does it support the women, or how is it?
I think I am not the right person to ask that, but still, legally, it's there are many acts. Domestic violence act is there for
Hmm.
women,
Hmm.
but now with the there is a sudden change, sudden wave has come after the Atul Subhash case, that
Hmm.
National Council of Men has come up. And also, Section 498A is actually being misused also a lot. There are, I have
Absolutely.
spoken to many people like who are in the committee. So, if 10 cases are filed, among them only 2 are true and 8 cases are false. So, because of this, true cases are also not getting the
Hmm.
justice.
Tell me one thing. How can one prove domestic? Let's take an example. If there is a physical abuse, for that matter, right, which has been going on for years, right? How does the woman go and prove to the court or the police that I have been physically abused? Is it the physical marks or something? How do you then prove it?
Physical abuse can be proved easily with a doctor's check, with the physical marks, but medical legal case should be filed. Like
Okay.
MLC should be made. Then it's more authentic. Otherwise, these days it
Okay.
has come up like even if it is written in the diary of a female
Huh.
that she is being having depressed or physical violence, that is also
Hmm.
approved. But
Hmm.
still, the in the court of law, medical legal MLC is very important
Hmm.
when you get abused. So first thing a female should do is to get an MLC done.
Okay. Now tell me from a man's perspective. I'm just trying to understand a set of different. Really, it could
Yeah,
be.
I
It may
know.
sound like a stupid. It could sound like a stupid question, but suppose I am a female, right? Now, I have not been physically abused by my partner. Now I have some grudges with my partner. Either my partner is cheating on me or whatever XYZ reason, whatever it is. I uh, try and physically abuse myself through my family members or whatever it is and prove to the court that I have been physically abused by my partner. What happens in that case? I'm just trying to, hypothetically build some
So
scenarios just
this
to.
hypothetical scenario is like nowadays, anyways, I believe way has changed and laws have become in favor of men instead
Uh,
of women. Anyways, so there are many ways to prove it now. Even
uh,
if a woman goes with the MLC, they, if there is any doubt, they question it. How can you prove it
uh,
was abused by a man, by your husband?
mm,
That question is also raised now. So
okay. So,
it has become very complicated because Section 498 is actually being misused, which I believe. So
right.
that's why people I don't get much justice despite having the proofs. And
Hmm,
the law is for men also now and for women also. But the discretion is like judiciary should be discreet enough to decide whether it's a false case or a true case. So it can be done like whether we can see the abuse pattern of the uh, alcohol abuse, male,
hmm,
and also the personality pattern of the female personality pattern. There are now we can check whether female is like if infidelity is the case and
hmm, hmm,
if she's having affair and she's
right.
blaming you abuse that you have abused her and that's why she wants divorce. There are many females now they get for and they ask for alimony and then go
Hmm,
we can read in newspapers every day. So now anyways it's very easy to check whether she's having affairs. The cyber security cell can do that. So it's the discretion of the judiciary which they should be sensitized enough to differentiate whether it's a false case or a true case.
okay. Can you give me a step by step direction if someone is going through domestic violence, right? And the person wants to now report and go to court. I mean, formally uh, take the formal procedure, the legal procedure. What would be the step by step process for them to? Is it through an NGO or they can directly reach out to police,
Directly,
the court?
directly FIR is done. First
Okay.
MLC you should do. First of all, first your escape is more important. You should
Hmm.
escape from that relationship because once your abuser gets the idea that you are
Hmm.
trying to abuse, the abuse becomes more harmful. It can be life threatening. So for that, like we have even made a strategy, uh, like escape plan. female is, if she's in the abusive relationship, she should
Hmm.
have a strong support network. She should have a place to go, and she should have a safety, a bag ready with the documents to go and get MLC done, or else she can message herself in the WhatsApp, whatever abuse is going on. She can try
Hmm.
recording it. What if verbal abuse is going on? She can record it and show it. Even diary is a valid document these days. And then there is FIR. And the FIR now, anyways, government has come up with the initiative of zero FIR also, which can be filed anywhere. It is not necessary you should be resident of that area. Earlier, it was
Okay.
necessary to be resident of the area of the jurisdiction of that police station,
Okay.
but now
Okay.
a female or can file FIR where anywhere. And government has come up with the project Nai Chetna for domestic violence
Hmm.
in Rajasthan. I know that, in which they have come up like if a female files the FIR, they will solve it within timeline of 21 days or so. So FIR is the first step, and lawyer, legal support, family support, that is important, and then the process starts.
Okay. So the first step is get out of that place.
Yes,
Have a support network
definitely.
of your family, friends, where you can just move from there and who can, help you escape out of that. Second is file a FIR wherever you can.
Second
You
is to
can.
get MLC done. That is very
Sorry.
important.
Second is the MLC thing.
Yeah.
Then the FIR with the police.
Yes.
Seek legal help. Then this goes to court, and then the judiciary system takes it,
Yes.
whatever the time it is
y-
required. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Uh, so here
Then
one of the major fact.
another way is to directly reach out to National Commission of Women. There is an
Uh,
online portal that women can file a complaint on National Commission Women. On
okay.
there is different branches in different states, cities, and you can approach them. Or some local area politician or someone who is the representative of National Women Commission there, you can approach and the file can be filed, complaint can be filed online on National Commission of Women
Okay.
itself.
So, so I can understand these from a point of view where the woman or the man is well educated and is well aware of the rights. What happens for a underprivileged person or a undereducated person? Are there NGOs existing who can help you in all this process?
Yes, definitely. There are many NGOs. First of all, National Commission of Women and this Nai Chetna project. They are
Hmm.
also there for underprivileged people. They uh, have been like making people aware everywhere to file this. Then NGOs are there to name. There is like uh, Rohini Niketan Foundation. Then there is a National Commission. Women, anybody can approach, and
Okay.
even local MLAs. One can go local sarpanch, and they Anganwadi worker. They all are sensitized nowadays how to file the complaint, and they get it done. And then there is NGO Invisible Scars Foundation.
Hmm.
Uh, Another, like, I'm not able to remember the names right now. And anyways, I am planning to open the NGO. Once I open it, then it is I have planned to name it either Pukar or something like that to bring
All
it back.
all the best. All the
Yeah,
best to you, and thank
but
you
it will
for
take a
that.
long time. Yeah.
Obviously. Uh, So we spoke about the psychological part of it. I mean, what are the early signs and everything. So does someone's upbringing, right? When I say upbringing, what they have seen in their homes in their childhood, their mother fathers fight, how were they, tackling their fights? How are they projecting it on the child? So does all this factor, come into play? And
Definitely, that is the biggest factor, which is the one thing which is being that is like it's a one has to break the generational curse to get out of the
hmm,
cycle, even a man or a woman. Because women also who have seen domestic violence in their house happening, they get it, take it as a normalized thing, like, yes, my mother has also faced it, my grandmother
right,
faced it, so it's normal. And men also, for men, it is a learned behavior. If a father is
hmm,
abusive, aggressive, for him, it is like okay to abuse the woman. So that
yes,
learned behavior
yes.
is first thing which should be changed, and the change begins from home. And then another aspect is like a child who is neglected, whether a male
Hmm.
or a female. when a male child is neglected, have you seen Animal movie?
Yes.
So what was shown in that?
So
I want to
completely,
know your perspective. Yeah.
so my perspective was that the child was, I mean, which was played by Ranbir
Ranbir
Kapoor,
Kapoor.
was
Yeah.
obviously, did not never got the love from the father or the
Yes.
attention from the father that he, wanted to.
Yeah. And what happened then? He became so aggressive, possessive,
Uh,
and that is toxic masculinity, which was shown.
right.
So that is the thing, because when child is neglected or abused, like
Mm,
there are many children I have heard who have been like punished badly in the childhood by their fathers. So that aggression, and they develop that attachment style also, insecure attachment style. Like if I am not manly enough, if I am not aggressive enough, I am not able to
mm,
control my wife, she will leave me. So that insecure attachment that comes in between, and that makes the power dynamics. He has this thing, until and unless I am dominating and I'm aggressive, I will not be able to control my household. So that neglect leads to the aggression. Learned behavior is also there. If a father is, he has seen his mother being abused, that will also be there. Then
mm.
a mother who has been abused. Uh, I have read a quote, I think by Kamla Bhasin, poet. She was a big feminist. So she wrote in one thing, the biggest instigator of a domestic violence is a woman.
I mean, it should never happen कि आप किसी अपने डॉटर को, अपने सिस्टर को, या किसी को भी आप ये बताओ कि अगर आप पे ये चीज हो रही है, दिस इज वेरी नॉर्मल, दिस हैपेंस, एंड आपको ये एडजस्ट करना पड़ेगा.
So
व्हाई
yeah,
शुड दिस बी? ये
so
क्यों होना चाहिए?
that only I was like, second point was like what happened to the female who sees this, and
Hmm.
also she develops this uh in adolescence movie. Have you seen adolescence movie?
No, I was planning to, but I've not seen.
Okay, so in that men and women are raised differently. A
Hmm.
boy copies his father's style of aggression, uh, and the girl, she is being raised as she is always on the survival mode. Like she has to
Okay.
uh, fill the expectations of the society, and सिखाया ही यही जाता है कि एक लड़की ही घर बनाती है और उसको घर चलाना है. बट मैरिज इज नॉट ओनली अ वन पर्सन ना, इट इज अबाउट टू वे स्ट्रीट. अब वो
Yeah.
पुराना जमाना चला गया है, क्योंकि एवरी वुमेन इज गोइंग फॉर वर्क. सो another thing, and females who see this, they have this fear, and they also get this imbibed in that, like we have to go through this. So it's time
Hmm.
to change the narrative. Like, so you said like it's time women should start speaking, but if women start speaking, it is not going to change. Women are anyway speaking since long. We are crying for equality. So until and unless men come as allies, कि जब एक लड़का बात करेगा ना कि डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस नहीं होना चाहिए, या विमेन को एम्पावर्ड
Hmm.
होना चाहिए, इनपावर होना चाहिए, तब चीजें बदलेंगी. विमेन सिर्फ रोती रहे कि मुझे मारा जा रहा है या ऐसा हो रहा है, तो कैसे बदलेंगी? When the
Right.
person from other gender comes, then it will be equal. Equal anyways I can't say, because we are biologically different. So obviously there are many things जो मुझे ही करनी है, and there are to take care of the parents, to take care, to cook food. Okay, that is fine. But if I am ambitious, my husband should celebrate my win also. If I am celebrating his promotion, he should celebrate my awards and promotion also. So it's like existing mutually. And if he's taking burden of the financial and all, I should also make myself financial literate a bit at least. If I want him to take participate in the household work, so I should also
Hmm.
participate in his financial burdens. So it should be equality, like equity, or giving equal opportunities to both men and women. That is more important.
इन सब में, इन पूरे सिनारियो में, व्हेन इन केस ऑफ डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एंड एवरीथिंग, हम अभी पेरेंट्स के ही रोल के बारे में बात कर रहे थे. सो जस्ट एन एक्सटेंडेड क्वेश्चन ऑन दैट. कितना इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है पेरेंट का रोल यहाँ पे, ऑफ द मदर एंड द फादर ऑफ आइदर ऑफ द सर्वाइवर? कितना
It's
इम्पोर्टेंट?
very important. First of all, for the parents of a girl, I will say, कि भाई, when she is getting married, you have to teach her. Like, we are taught anyways, like your in-laws or your parents. That is a culture. But
Hmm.
if you have any problem, we are there for you. This is your home. You can come back anytime. And divorce is not a stigma. Because I always say
Right.
divorced daughter is much better than a dead daughter or a daughter who is dying there daily. So they should
Absolutely.
tell her like we are here for you, but over interference should not be there. It should not be like every 2 hours a mother is calling. That should not be there.
Hmm, hmm,
Because
hmm.
over interference definitely causes problem. But she
Right.
should be taught like that is your home. But if you have any problem, you are free to come anytime. We are always there for you. So family support and confidence should be there. And for parents of a boy, I will say you are raising a person who is, you should raise your son the way you would like to, like, to teach him to treat a wife like a, you expect
Like you
your,
would
like you would expect
daughter
your
to be
daughter and
treated.
sister to be treated. And also, my
Absolutely.
favorite quote is like, a man who treats his wife like a queen is an example that he has been raised by a queen. So mother has a biggest role in that. Because mothers never accept the fault of their son. They always say, Mera bacha bahut acha hai, bahut acha hai, bahut
Hmm.
acha hai." So that enables their behavior.
नाउ ऑन अ ब्रॉडर स्पेक्ट्रम सोसाइटी का क्या रोल आ जाता है यहाँ पे? क्योंकि एज़ अ सोसाइटी हमें तो मज़ा आता है ना दूसरे के प्रॉब्लम में
बहुत।
खुशी ढूँढते हैं हम।
हाँ, हाँ।
तो
अ, हम लोग अपने
इसमें
घर में नहीं
सोसाइटी का
देखते
व
हैं। या
राइट, हमारे घर में 100 बम फट रहे होंगे लेकिन दूसरे के घर में 1 भी फटा तो हम उसमें ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट लेंगे कि वहाँ पे क्या हुआ।
डेफिनेटली हाँ।
एंड दिस इज़ समथिंग डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस समथिंग दैट हैपेंस आई वुड से नॉर्मली इन एवरी हाउसहोल्ड इन वन और द अदर फॉर्म।
यस,
चाहे बड़े बड़े
डेफिनेटली।
क्वांटिटी में और छोटे क्वांटिटी में बट होता तो है ही। सो हाउ व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ द सोसाइटी एज अ सोसाइटी व्हाट शुड वी अंडरस्टैंड?
So first of all, society, like that is why I say the change starts first from the home, then from beginning, from the childhood, from in the schools, the workshops should be there for women's safety. They should be taught for men and women both, for children. Emotional regulation classes should be there instead of teaching them history, geography. It should be how to regulate your emotions, which is much more important than the IQ. How intelligent you are will not take you anywhere, but your emotional quotient will take you very much higher in life, even in the corporate sector also. So, emotional regulation, emotional intelligence classes, talking about your feelings. Like my child should be able to name the feeling. I am feeling grumpy, I am feeling sad. So, that is like healthy beginnings, which is very important. So there comes the role of the school. Then there comes the role of the media and the society. Cinema, as of, if they keep on glorifying the image of Ranbir Kapoor, Kabir Singh, of Pushpa, Jhukega Nahi Sala, that all is, usse kya hota hai, teenagers, like maybe not my age, but like even I got like very, yeah, Ranbir Kapoor is very handsome, very attractive with that. But what if it comes in my real life? We don't think about that. So men
राइट।
believe that women are being attracted towards guys like that. So that is like toxic masculinity is being glorified. And women also, they feel that guys so this, but they don't think what it will bring to the table if he comes to the life. So cinema should change the narrative, and it, so there comes the role of the society. And about the divorce, there was one in one podcast or one interview, someone said like, uh, divorce though, we have fights in brother and sister also. We should divorce them. Why don't we divorce them? And why we take divorce from the husband? So it's not about the fights. It's about the abuse which is happening, and we are not obligated to get abused by anyone. I say you can cut off your family members also if they are abusive towards you. Nobody has any right to abuse you.
Okay, so here is my 2 cent on the movie analogy that you give. So first part is it's on a lighter note. uh, Girls like alpha males, right?
Yes, definitely.
Right, if someone is it could be false machoism, but normally girls like
Yeah,
that.
I know
Now
that.
if there is a nice boy who is treating the lady nicely, they could be वो फ्रेंड जोन हो जाते हैं, जो हम कहते हैं ना फ्रेंड जोन हो जाना, वो राखी भाई बन जाते हैं.
I know.
So I think from a sense of that, this false machoism also comes in, and obviously for the fact कि हमें cool act करना है. Now the problem that I have is, when we are saying a movie, we all know it's a movie. Obviously, movie or any sort of entertainment, when there is a celebrity involved and whatever it is, it tends to, spike your mind and your thoughts in that way. But जहाँ पे पुष्पा बन रही है, जहाँ पे एनिमल बन रही है, जहाँ पे ऐसी मूवीज बन रही है, वहां पे थप्पड़ जैसी मूवीज भी बन रही है, वहां पे क्वीन जैसी मूवीज भी बन रही है, वहां पे मॉम जैसी मूवीज भी बन रही हैं, देन व्हाई डोंट वी आल्सो टेक इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम दिस मूवीज? हम सिर्फ यही क्यों कहते हैं कि एनिमल में ये दिखाया गया तो वो ऐसा बनेगा? थप्पड़ में भी तो दिखाया गया कि द लेडी स्टूड अप
वही,
फॉर हिमसेल्फ
या,
ओनली आफ्टर वन स्लैप.
बट इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. जितना प्रोपेगेंडा मिसेस मूवी का हुआ है, there
हम्म.
was not no propaganda of Kabir Singh, of Animal, of Pushpa. The propaganda which happened, and I believe like in Mrs. Movie there were few things which were actually जो ओवर प्रोपेगेंडा, मतलब कि आप फेमिनिज्म को ऐसा थोड़ी, फेमिनिज्म का मतलब ये नहीं है कि भाई लड़कों को मारना स्टार्ट कर दो.
एग्जैक्टली.
हाँ,
एग्जैक्टली.
सो इट वाज
एग्जैक्ट.
लाइक ओवर हाइप.
हाँ.
Feminism is basically treating equally. It's not about beating men or beating women. है ना, सपोर्टिंग ईच अदर. सो वो वैसे
हम्म.
भी आई बिलीव इट वाज ओवर हाइप्ड, द प्रोपेगेंडा ऑफ दैट
सी,
मूवी.
ये ओवर फेमिनिज्म या फिर ये जो फॉल्स फेमिनिज्म वाली बात है ना, ये तो बहुत आज के फेमिनिज्म के
हाँ,
नाम पे मतलब ऐसे प्रोपेगेंडा है कि मतलब उनके हिसाब से तो द स्पीसीज ऑफ मैन शुड बी कंप्लीटली इरेडिकेटेड फ्रॉम द फेस ऑफ द अर्थ.
यस,
राइट.
दैट इज
ये
रॉन्ग.
फेमिनिज्म,
या,
दैट इज रॉन्ग. राइट. नाउ मेरा ये भी पॉइंट है, अगर आप सिर्फ मूवीज की बात कर रहे हो, लुक एट योर, आप एक घर में जहाँ पे the father is beating up the mother in front of the child, right? वो आदमी आकर बाहर आके कह रही है क्या सिनेमा बनाते हैं, बच्चों को बिगाड़ देंगे. That person has no right to say that,
डेफिनेटली.
right? If you want to change the perception of the movies, start from your home. आप अपने घर में भी तो आइडल सिनेरियो बनाओ, तब तो
दैट
आप.
आई टोल्ड, फर्स्ट थिंग, फर्स्ट चेंज बिगिंस विद होम, देन फ्रॉम द स्कूल, देन
हम्म.
डिजिटल मीडिया जो ये इंस्टाग्राम रील्स एंड ऑल, एंड देन द सिनेमा एंड द मीडिया. सो फर्स्ट चेंज तो डेफिनेटली हैज टू बिगिन विद द होम.
हम्म.
बिकॉज until and unless we change the home, कि हम अपने डॉटर्स को और ये नहीं बताएंगे कि भाई तुम्हारा घर है यहाँ पे, you have the freedom and divorce is not a stigma, and until and unless we tell our men, tell our sons, raise our sons to be right, to treat women right, things cannot change. So it's about raising daughters also. उनको भी ये नहीं बोलना है कि भाई हाँ जाओ, और फेमिनिज्म है कि भाई तुम जो करना है करो, वो चीज नहीं है.
हम्म.
You have, a woman has to fulfill the responsibilities of caregiving, how much educated she is. There was an interview by Indra Nui,
Okay.
PepsiCo CEO. The
हाँ
day
हाँ हाँ.
she got promoted, she was very happy. She came home and she was like, "Mom, mom, please listen to me." But her mother was like, "दूध नहीं है घर में तुम लाई." So she said, "Oh, I am telling you the biggest news that I have become the CEO of the biggest company." So she said, "You have become the CEO. It doesn't matter. But who will get the milk for the house? That is your first responsibility. तुम कितने बड़े भी सीईओ बन जाओ, बट बच्चों का
Right.
खाना तो तुम्हें देखना है, पेरेंट्स का तो तुम्हें देखना है. That responsibility cannot be. We are not so modern that we leave our elderlies and children in institutionalized care. So I say it is equal thing. कि ठीक है, the day a woman has a work, a guy can take care of the household work. If a guy is taking of household work, so woman should take care of his burden also, na? So it should be mutual. It should not be like only men are bad, men are bad. I never say that. Despite being through the both the marriages, being into this, but I still say men also suffer a lot because I have seen very close friends of mine suffer, and I have
Right.
seen many clients also. Yeah. So जब
So I
इंदिरा
have.
नोई को दूध लाना पड़ रहा है घर का, मतलब her mother actually scolded, and this is an interview you should watch on the YouTube.
हाँ.
So it's like feminism is not about like men are bad. Feminism is about equal opportunities for both.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one thing I have tried to understand, कि as a mental health expert, right? uh, what what are the new things that are coming up? I mean, what do you envision in the coming future? हम डिप्रेशन, एंजाइटी, इन सब चीजों के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, गोइंग हेड, और व्हाट डू यू एनविजन इन द
For me,
मेंटल हेल्थ डोमेन?
yeah, I envision like instead of talking about the mental illness, Now it's
Hmm.
the time to start talking about mental wellness because
Okay.
everyone is going through some stress. Stress management is important for everybody. Everyone has some stress. इतना hustle bustle है life में and everyone is going through a battle. You never know. So always be kind. And mental wellness is very important. So the thing is, one should start from the beginning. Like I said, emotional regulation skills, emotional intelligence should be taught in early experiences, how they affect. Then everyone is navigating the life changes. है
Hmm.
ना? Everyone has stages of their life. Someone gets thrown out of the job. Yeah, someone is going through the workplace bullying. So nurture your support system. Then journaling is very important, which helps a lot. So I believe it's time to talk about the positive sides of the mental health and mental wellness. To start inculcating spirituality and okay, it cannot be done deliberately, but it is
Right.
a part. Yeah, it helps. And it cannot be a treatment, but it helps in being mentally well. Yeah. And then identifying the early signs. If you are facing, there are so many online mental health platforms where you can uh, check yourself, like screening questionnaires are there, which you can see, like if you are going through the stress or if depression is there. So, and definitely mental health landscape is changing and people are much more vocal about it now as compared to earlier. And stigma has come down. And another thing, like what AI has come up, like artificial intelligence. People are taking chatbot as a therapy.
Right.
Nah, on one side, it's okay, it's fine. Yeah, at that time, you get the support. But definitely, artificial intelligence cannot replace the human touch and the empathy. So, if you feel there is a need, you should go the psychologist, therapy, or a psychiatrist, and there should not be any shame in that. And mental health is not a luxury; it's a necessity in these days.
Yep. Absolutely.
So it's time to talk about that, not to talk about the illness. Everyone is aware about कितनी बीमारियां हैं
Uh,
psychiatry में.
Ma'am, with this, we come to the end of the podcast. But before I let you go, I would request you, as a gender based violence survivor and an advocate as well, uh, what would be your message to the society and to those, who are, who are silently going through this domestic violence? What would be your message to them?
So my message to that is like domestic violence is an epidemic and we don't talk about it until it happens to the celebrities or us,
Yeah.
first of all. So we should talk about it. There is no shame. It's not your fault if someone is abusive towards you. You should talk. It's not your fault. And for the family, there is no stigma in the divorce. And if you identify the abuse in the initial stages, be vigilant. Like when you get your daughter married or a son married, is there a change in his
Hmm.
behavior? He Son suddenly has started becoming irritable, withdrawing himself, or is
Hmm.
talking about depression, or like I have seen men suffering like that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
you should be vigilant. What's happening? What's wrong? You should talk about that. And another thing for the girls, you should tell them it's not marriage is not the end of the life. You can be successful without the marriage also. And also divorce is not a stigma anymore. You so you should look for the subtle signs. If you see like she has been confined, she's not talking much, she's not her behavior has changed, that should be noticed by the parents. And always be friends to your children, then only they will confide to you. Until and
Right.
unless you are not friends with them, they will not confide. And also the another message is like always keep your support system strong. That is only which is going to help you to go well. So for me, it's like the strength of female friendships. I believe it has actually kept me going. And everybody can heal, and you have the opportunity to recreate your life every time. But abuse is not an option. वो चाहे एक थप्पड़ है या एक गाली है,
Hmm.
किसी भी तरह का abuse you should not tolerate, neither men nor women. क्योंकि आप मैरिज में you are in a relationship to be happy, not to be suffocated. You are not caged bird. है ना? आपको पिंजरे में थोड़ी डाल दिया गया है, आप पिंजरे से बाहर रहने के लिए हो. So you should talk about your emotions and If you start talking about it, and communication is the key, and when there is a healthy communication between the couples, then things can improve in the initial stage only without the abuse.
So all of our mental health episodes and physical health episodes, we always recommend कि अगर आपको कुछ भी लग रहा है, speak to the professionals. Don't rely on a podcast. एक पॉडकास्ट होस्ट होने के बावजूद भी मैं यही कह रहा हूँ कि
Yeah,
आप सिर्फ एक पॉडकास्ट या वीडियो देख के मत समझिए. गो टू ए प्रोफेशनल, वहां से आप सजेशन लीजिए. बिकॉज वी आर नॉट, मैं एक्सपर्ट नहीं हूँ, मैम एक्सपर्ट है, बट टिल द टाइम यू, यहाँ पे जो भी बातें हो रही, बहुत जेनरिक बातें हो रही हैं.
yes,
जब तक आप
it's a
स्पेसिफिक अपने प्रॉब्लम
conversation.
को लेके,
Yeah.
राइट,
And a successful marriage is about falling in love with the same person again and again. And also,
एब्सोल्युटली.
a successful marriage is the one where you learn to forgive each other every time after the argument. कि go to the bed अपनी fight resolve करके, और घर काम की लड़ाई घर पे मत लाओ.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
That,
With this, we end the
yeah.
podcast. Uh, Thank you again for the beautiful conversation.